Right now, massive regions of California are actively organizing to physically and legally pull apart from their own state. What drives a population to pursue a constitutional rebellion against the government they elected? Before we map out exactly how this works, a quick thanks to today's sponsor, Shasta Unfiltered. Scan the code on screen or visit their site for honest news covering the North State. Back in 1879, California ratified a constitution built with strict safeguards. It was designed with deep checks and balances, specifically to prevent any single legislative faction from gaining unchecked power over the population. Over time, one-party dominance has stripped those safeguards away. Through hundreds of amendments and highly partisan courts, the system has shifted toward pure majority rule, treating constitutional checks as mere obstacles to be bypassed. When constitutional boundaries evaporate and a dominant group exercises power without restraint, the consent of the governed disappears. For many Californians, the basic social contract is already broken. A clear indicator of this broken contract is how the state government overrides local authority, specifically preempting municipalities from managing their own elections. Take Senate Bill 1174. When local communities tried to enact their own voter ID requirements, the state stepped in and passed a law strictly prohibiting them from doing so. The state went even further with SB 73, which actually criminalized the ability of local sheriffs to seize and investigate ballots during an election inquiry. By stripping local governments of the power to verify identities or investigate ballots, the state has effectively centralized the oversight of the vote. This signals a deepening hostility toward the independent will of local communities. This assertion of power doesn't stop at the local level. California also directly challenges federal authority through its sanctuary state framework, enacted under Senate Bill 54. Under these policies, state law strictly prohibits local law enforcement from cooperating with federal immigration officials, including a ban on honoring ICE detainers for removable individuals. Critics point to federal statute, 8 U.S.C. Section 1324, which makes it a felony to conceal or harbor unlawfully present individuals. By systematically shielding these individuals from federal detection, legal experts argue the state is committing a felony. When a state prioritizes its own policy goals, even in the face of federal felony statutes, it is openly violating the Supremacy Clause to maintain its ideological direction. If you're finding this breakdown helpful, please hit like, subscribe, and visit ShastaUnfiltered.com. Now, let's look at the financial crisis fueling the push for secession. Over the past few years, California has spent more than $24 billion on homelessness, yet it still leads the nation in unhoused individuals. The disconnect is massive. Taxpayers fund billions for treatment and housing programs, but the visible decay on the streets only continues to expand. With billions allocated to salaries, consulting fees, and perpetual program renewals, the system is designed to sustain itself. Because the network of NGOs and contractors rely on these ongoing funding streams, they are structurally incentivized to manage the crisis rather than end it. When billions are extracted from taxpayers to fund a system where the problem only grows, the government creates a self-perpetuating cycle that destroys its own fiscal legitimacy. When a system profits from perpetual failure and ignores constitutional limits, citizens have a legal obligation to withdraw their consent. This withdrawal can begin through standard lawful avenues, organizing recalls of unresponsive officials, filing legal challenges against state overreach, and launching ballot initiatives. But there is a more permanent constitutional remedy. Article 4, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution permits the creation of entirely new states from the territory of existing ones. Two movements are attempting this. The grassroots New California initiative isolates coastal urban centers like Los Angeles, Sacramento, and the Bay Area into an island state. Assemblyman Gallagher's effort focuses on inland counties. Shasta, Lassen, and Yuba are passing resolutions to separate. Splitting a state requires massive consensus and approval from Congress. It is incredibly difficult, but it has historical precedent, offering a peaceful, democratic path to restore self-government. California is acting as a modern stress test of American democracy. For the citizens pushing for partition, this is no longer a fringe theory. It is a necessary duty to reclaim their sovereignty.